Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a very good day. It's been a really long time. I hope you guys are doing well. So let's just jump right into it because I anticipate this is going to be a really long video. So as you can tell by the title, I've decided to stop doing book hauls. I know, I'll tell you why I've decided to do this. First of all, if you haven't checked out my update video on this other channel, which is my secondary channel, I talk about things I've been up to these past 6 months. One of them being is that I moved into my very own place. I bought a house, and so there were a lot of things during the move that I realized about myself regarding, books and reading, as well as I've decided to focus my time and attention on drawing and becoming a better artist. For myself personally, I don't feel like I'm where I should be as an illustrator. There is definitely a whole lot of room for improvement, and so I decided to, let's get into the reasons, I decided to shift my focus on reading and books and put it towards drawing and improving my skills as an illustrator. Also, another update, in August it was my 5 years here on BookTube on YouTube, and so I guess naturally it was time for reflection. What I've done these past 5 years, what I've read, which is a whole lot, and it made me also think about things that I hadn't done, and I guess that made me realize what I put on the back burner, what I pushed kind of aside to pursue BookTube and to read more. And during this year, it happened in April, sometime around that time, and at work, something happened that made me really miss drawing, made me really miss creating. And even though I create videos, it's kind of, I guess, a different thing for me anyways. I really missed it a whole lot, and I would see my peers and other illustrators online, and I wanted to be, at least skill level wise, I wanted to be there with them, and I wanted to be able to create amazing things with them. And I feel at my skill level, I'm not there yet. I'm far from it, and so I really wanted to do this. So that's one of the reasons why book hauls just don't make sense anymore, because I will be reading less frequently. Purchasing books to read in a certain amount of time isn't practical for me. And you may be wondering what my reading habits have been like during this hiatus, and for a lot of the time during this time off, I didn't read at all, which was kind of nice. It was just nice to take a step back, and something I just needed to do because I wasn't in the mood for reading, because I had drawing on the brain, and if I thought about that, I couldn't think about reading. But it wasn't until this move and commuting to work, I would see people on the bus reading books, and I really missed it, and I thought maybe it's time I get back to reading. And so that's what I did. And so I looked at my to be read shelf, which you see right behind me, right over here. I picked up The Lives of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, which I'm really enjoying right now. And I am about halfway, as you can see, and as you can see here, I dog-ear my pages. Another thing that's changed, I don't really care if I dog-ear my pages. That's just how it is now. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And what's kind of weird is that I'm getting through it quicker than I thought I would be, because my commute to and from work is 15 minutes to 20 minutes going there, 15 to 20 minutes going back. And that's all the time I have reserved to read, is just during this commute to and from work. So that's about 30 to 40 minutes every day, which is probably nothing compared to how I read hours and hours in the past, which is crazy. And that's during the weekdays too, Monday to Friday, half an hour to 40 minutes every day. I don't even pick up books during the weekend anymore, which is crazy, but that's how it is now. So yeah, it's weird, but I'm kind of really liking it. This is kind of how it was before BookTube. kind of my pace of reading is just I would pick it up whenever I felt like reading. And I'm really glad that I've dedicated this certain amount of time to read, because I don't know when I would, because of the craziness of living life, running a household, working, and doing other stuff. So that's good. Another reason why I decided to stop doing book hauls is because I wanted my library to represent who I am as a reader. If you looked at the titles of the books, you can tell that's Priscilla's library. That's totally her. Of course, before the move, I've always wanted a dedicated space for a library. You know, the dream of having floor-to-ceiling shelves full of books. There was this one photo on Pinterest of shelves that only took up a small amount of space, just this dedicated wall just filled with books, floor to ceiling, which was really cool. And I thought, hey, that would be a good idea to start with, and I did have something similar to that. So this was the wall I decided to start my, you know, floor to ceiling library. And this was also, of course, the time to purge my books and pick out the books that I really connected with. So let me get into how I picked out the books that I wanted to keep and have on the readable shelf. So one of the reasons was that it had to be a book that really stayed with me, that really resonated with me, and a lot of classics kind of fell into this category. You know, Tree Grows in Brooklyn, Pride and Prejudice, 1984. Catcher in the Rye surprisingly made it on my shelf as well. Even though Catcher in the Rye isn't my favorite book, it has weird sentimental value to me. First classic I read on BookTube and wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Which kind of in turn made me want to check out other classic books. I figured, hey, that wasn't so bad. Maybe other classics won't be as bad. So that's why Catcher in the Rye is on my shelf, because of weird sentimental value. Another realization I had during this move is that I'm not a big of a collector as I thought I was. I think there's a couple of books that were a part of a series that I was okay not having on my shelf, like I Land the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. Even though it's part of this series right over here, I didn't like it. So it didn't really make sense to have it on my shelf. Another thing I've come to terms with, and something I've always known, is I'm not a big rereader. I don't reread my books as often as I would like, but there are certainly books that I do enjoy rereading. The books I really want to reread again and again have made the cut. There were certainly books that I really enjoyed, but for some reason wanting to reread it again wasn't there, which I was fine with. I don't know why that is. It's just I was okay reading it once and that was good enough for me. So that kind of goes with film and TV shows as well. You watch it once, you're good. Another thing I kept in mind while I was purging through my books is I wanted books that I could easily recommend to other people or have them borrow if they wanted to. Personally, if I were to recommend a book or series, it's something I would probably want to have strong feelings for and wouldn't hesitate to recommend or let them borrow. So by the time I finished purging through my books, the small space I had dedicated to my library, I still had room for books, which is crazy. And of course, in the future, the more I read, I may have the library I always dreamed of having. You know, wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling shelves filled with books. But I've decided those books will be books I really, really enjoyed. Books that I could easily lend out to other people. Books I would want to reread. Books that stayed with me, that personally connected and resonated with me. So when you see that shelf, when you see the Chaos Walking series, when you see the Monsterologist, when you see Pride and Prejudice, when you see 1984, when you look at that shelf, you know that's Priscilla's bookshelves. So of course, purchasing books I haven't even read yet and haven't decided made the cut to be on the readable shelf is kind of impractical. So that's another reason why I've decided to stop purchasing books. And you may be wondering, Priscilla, how are you gonna figure out if you like the book or not? Well, I'm gonna go to the library. I'm gonna utilize the library. It's something I've always used in the past growing up during grade school, but for some reason haven't done so now. There's a library very close to my work that I could definitely check out, and you may be thinking, Priscilla, words are wind, and you're right. You know, so far I'm just talking the talk, but hopefully I'll walk the walk soon enough. There are certainly physical books on my to-be-read shelf that I could pick through, but I won't let that deter me from heading out to the library and checking out what they have. Using the library will also alleviate this pressure, this guilt of me not finishing books, because with me at least, I want to finish the freaking book. So I know if it's bad, I know how bad it is. And of course, when I purchase books, I really have this need to finish the book, you know, to get my money's worth. That's just how I am. So I feel if I utilize the library and borrow books, I will have less guilt, at least, you know, not finishing the book. Once the due date comes around, it's like, I wasn't feeling it anyways. I won't feel so bad returning the book because I don't want those late fees. Also, utilizing the library, it also gives me the opportunity to check out books I normally wouldn't have. For example, memoirs. There are certain memoirs that I kind of want to check out, but not necessarily would want to have on my shelves just because. So there's certainly books out there I'd love to check out of curiosity, but wouldn't necessarily want to purchase or have on my shelves. So that's another reason why I want to use that library. So this way, using the library, checking out books that I'm curious about reading, I'll find out if I really like the book and find out if it's worth purchasing. And we'll see how that goes as well. I'm thinking, will I really purchase a book I've already read? Really? And I'm thinking, maybe, probably. I kind of do that with films already. When I go to the movie theater, really enjoyed the movie, want to buy the Blu-ray or DVD. So that's kind of what I already do with my films, and I don't see why that should be any different with books. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. But yes, I guess it's saying a lot when I read a book from a library and feel this need to purchase it as well. That's a special book for sure. So that'll be exciting to figure out what I deem worthy to go on these shelves. That sounds kind of weird, but it's true. So those are kind of all my thoughts, my reasons why I decided to stop doing book hauls and buying books en masse, because it's kind of, I guess, now impractical for me to do so. To create the library, I want to have to focus on another passion of mine that I just want to do and I'm really excited for. It'll be crazy and hard and challenging, but the things I'll create will make me certainly happy. And it's actually just refreshing to kind of step back from doing some booktube stuff. I'll obviously be around, I'll still be here, but it's just refreshing to take a step back, to slow things down, to kind of bring it back to how my reading habits were before doing booktube. Reading at a leisurely pace, one book at a time, and taking my time reading books. The stories and the feelings I have for the book retain and last much longer, because I know I inhaled a lot of the books I bought and I don't remember a thing about them. I kind of just went in and out, and probably I won't reread again. Anyways guys, I hope this video was somewhat thought-provoking and interesting. I don't know. This obviously isn't something weird or crazy. Maybe unusual in the booktube community, but hopefully will become usual. We'll see how that goes. Anyways guys, talk to you later.